Welcome back to The Laundry List. I'm your host, Todd, and I got my co-host, Charles, here. Blake is in Miami with Will Smith doing some crazy shit, making Miami.
Pitbull.
Yeah, Pitbull. I mean, Pitbull, I think Miami was created for Pitbull.
Mm-hmm.
God, we got a lot of good shit going on. We just got off the pickleball court, and my son and I took down Gage and Charles 3-2. Mm-hmm. Final game, we were up. We were down 5-0, and we're
That's correct.
This is. I mean, there's no way we're going to win this last game, but we just squeaked it out.
You pulled it off.
Yeah, that was fun. God, it was a lot of fun. We're having fun. We're learning to play and have fun in life, as one of the promises says. But before we introduce our guest, I want to remind everybody that these are the traits that we grew up with in a dysfunctional or alcoholic home, which served as survival traits, which really protected us and worked and kept us safe. So we thought. But a lot of these traits we take into our adulthood, and they don't serve us well. They don't create the freedom and the life that we want. So we have to work really hard at getting rid of them, and that's the work we do here on The Laundry List. Mm-hmm. If you want to be a guest, you have comments, feedback, please leave it for us wherever you get your podcast. You can also watch us on YouTube if you want to see our smiling faces. And Charles, would you be so kind to read the laundry list?
1, we became isolated and afraid of people and authority figures. 2, we became approval seekers and lost our identity in the process. 3, we are frightened by angry people and any personal criticism. 4, we either became alcoholics, marry them or both, or find another compulsive personality such as a workaholic to fulfill our sick abandonment needs. 5, we live life from the viewpoint of victims, and we are attracted by that weakness in our love and friendship relationships. 6, we have an overdeveloped sense of responsibility and it's easier for us to be concerned with others rather than ourselves. And this enables us not to look too closely at our own faults. 7, we get guilt feelings when we stand up for ourselves instead of giving in to others. 8, we became addicted to excitement. 9, we confuse love and pity and tend to love people we can pity and ultimately rescue.
Amen.
Yep, love that. 10, we have stuffed our feelings from our traumatic childhoods and have lost the ability to feel or express our feelings because it hurts so much. 11, we judge ourselves harshly and have a very low sense of self-esteem. 12, we are dependent personalities who are terrified of abandonment and will do anything to hold on to that relationship in order not to experience those painful abandonment feelings.
Don't leave me.
That's right, my goodness. And we often receive those feelings from living with sick people who were never there emotionally for us. 13, alcoholism is a family disease, and we became para-alcoholics and took on the characteristic of that disease even though we never picked up a drink. And finally, para-alcoholics, often referred to as codependents as well, are reactors rather than actors. Let's kick this thing off. Oh, are we doing the...
Yeah, so that's... And hopefully, Nick, you'll be able to talk a little bit about those traits and what comes up for you when you hear them. But, after you do the work, after you read the Red Book and do some blameless inventory of our childhoods, we then get the promises.
And the promises. 1, we will discover our real identities by loving and accepting ourselves. 2, our self-esteem will increase as we give ourselves approval on a daily basis. 3, fear of authority figures and the need to people please will leave us. 4, our ability to share intimacy will grow inside us. 5, as we face our abandonment issues, we will be attracted by strengths and become more tolerant of weakness. 6, we will enjoy feeling stable, peaceful, and financially secure. 7, we will learn how to play and have fun in our lives. 8, we will choose to love people who can love and be responsible for themselves. 9, healthy boundaries and limits will become easier for us to set. 10, fears of failure and success will leave us as we intuitively make better and healthier choices. 11, with the help of our ACA support group, we will slowly release our dysfunctional behaviors. And finally, 12, gradually with our higher powers' help, we will learn to expect the best and get it. Let's go.
Let's go. Great stuff. I love hearing those. And sometimes I space out when you read them, and sometimes I pay attention. But I'd like to welcome our guest today. He's a gentleman who I've just gotten to know fairly recently this year, and really enjoyed getting to know him. He's a man of his word. He's got integrity. He's got heart. He's got ethics and morals. And it's amazing how I can find all that out in a short period of time when someone's doing the work. You know, when someone's doing the work and you find their real selves, their true selves, which we talk a lot about on this podcast, you can really see who the person is, you know, who the guy really is. And he's this gentle giant. And I'm really excited to have him on. So please.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. What a great intro for me, Todd. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm honored to hear all that. So where to begin?
Yeah, that's good stuff. God, Charles,
I didn't know I was the guest tonight.
You are so fucking funny. I just love you. So let's please help us welcome Nick. And
let's go.
We got to start using the buttons again.
I know. That was fun. I had fun with those.
We have the auto clapper on there somewhere.
Yeah.
Be cool to have
there's like a boo and a hiss.
the reggae horn. That'd be.
Oh, this room sucks.
Yeah, we don't know where they are.
Okay.
Anyway, but help us welcome Nick, everyone. And Nick, you know, like I said, it's a genuine comment, and I can tell what kind of guy you are, and I'm proud to know you, and looking forward to getting to know you even better. So, welcome to the Laundry List podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's the best intro I've ever had. I've been called a lot of things in my life.
Yeah.
But half of those things, not too often.
Yeah.
Until recently.
I know what you mean. I
appreciate that. Thank you.
So, you know, we read the laundry list, which I tend to look at and go back into my past, childhood, adulthood, teenage years. And then also looking at the promises, which, you know, in AA, we do the steps. We kind of live in the middle of the triangle, which is unity, service, and recovery. And tell us a little bit about kind of what happened in your childhood, what happened in your teenage years and early adulthood, and then kind of what's going on in your life today. So a little bit like what it was like, what it's like now, and where's the where's the hope, where's the strength, where's the faith?
Sure. So I was born the fourth child to my parents, and had a fairly normal childhood, what I thought was normal, and played baseball, football, basketball. Early on in school, I was part of something that was called the GATE program. It was gifted and talented education, what it stood for. So beginning in second grade, all the way to freshman year, I was bused to a different school for different learning curriculum, which was incredible. When kids were coloring books, I was dissecting baby sharks. And my field trips were to Colorado and San Diego, not just to the local park. It was pretty amazing. But at that time, I'd never fancied myself as an intellectual, and I felt out of place a lot of times with that. But I appreciated that I was recognized with. I can't say the hard work that I did. I just tested well. I tested really well. Anyway, so I had a fairly normal, like I said, normal upbringing. Father is a great provider. Mom stayed home, took care of the kids, and she would, in hindsight, she would tell me that she had a lot of anxiety, and she had let me know that probably spilled over to me as a child. And, of course I didn't know that at the time. But as I got older, that kind of made some sense. Dad was busy working a lot. He was also a military man in the reserves. He'd go away for a month at a time in Korea or elsewhere. very honorable man. Special forces in 2 separate branches of the military. So didn't see dad a whole lot growing up as a young kid. So had a fairly normal time. When I was about 10 or 11 years old, I started getting interested in women, smoking weed, drinking some beers. And that launched a trajectory that would take me on a 30-year journey. And I was much more interested in that than my grades, than sports. I was interested in women and seeing what these substances would do to my head. And I wanted to explore every single corner of my brain. When I was a child, I wanted to be a scientist. Like I was a weird little kid. I was walking around with a shirt with Albert Einstein on it. I still love Albert Einstein to this day, by the way. But I was one of those weird kids. And come to find out later on, well, I did become a scientist. I did experiments on myself with all these substances. What's this going to do? I don't know. Let's see. Let's mix these two. What's this going to do? Let's see. So that took me somehow, I didn't die. Violence was introduced in the teen years with, some of the guys I was rolling with. Time and place type thing. You couldn't be a sissy. You just couldn't be. And so things progressed, but around, I don't know, about 18 years old, I started experiencing anxiety and depression. And a lot of GI issues that a normal young man shouldn't experience.
What year is this? I mean, how old were you?
I was, when the GI stuff started happening, probably 19. I had my gallbladder removed at 22.
Any diagnosis from the GI issues?
Gastritis. They couldn't figure it out. I've been to...
But you think it was caused by the anxiety and the fear?
I think it was anxiety and fear, and whiskey and cocaine definitely didn't help.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, and...
yeah, doctors don't prescribe that anymore. It's weird.
No, I know. Mine definitely wouldn't. I tried. So going through that, like I had my gallbladder removed, and they told me, yeah, this is postmenopausal women normally have this procedure done, not healthy young men. And okay, knocked me down a notch. That didn't feel good to hear. Anxiety and depression, I had been medicated with, tried everything, Prozac, Paxil, Effexor, you name it, I tried it. Xanax, like as prescribed. Nothing would work. And all the while I'm still doing what I thought normal people do. As
like what? School, work?
Yeah, going to school, going to work, going to have some pictures with the boys, meeting women, going clubbing, all this
so
stuff.
Not getting in a lot of trouble, just moving through life, but still had this underlying anxiety and fear as you're walking through life.
It was fear. I was white knuckling life, and I didn't even know it. I was on the beach in Mexico with a friend, and it was beautiful. We had this amazing place with a couple friends. Actually, we had this amazing place. There is absolutely no reason I should have had a panic attack because everything was perfect. I was having a panic attack. He reaches in his pocket. He's like, "Hey, try this." It was an OxyContin, 20 milligram OxyContin. Crushed it up. It's like, he told me, "Nick, it's impossible for you to have anxiety on this." Mm-hmm. I said, "Okay, I've tried everything. I'll try this. I don't know what it is." Snorted it up, and it felt like a warm blanket straight out of the dryer. Someone comes and drapes that over me, all while warm honey is being poured over my head. I was like, this is the answer.
And you didn't get that with Xanax?
No. No, the Xanax, I had 90 milligrams of Valiums like candy, nothing. Sugar pill.
So the oxys really, really work for you. It really affected you.
That was it. And so that was a moment that would take me on another 15 years.
15 years of opiates.
Correct.
And so talk about how that worked, because usually those don't end well, you know.
Well, it certainly did not. No.
I just got finished watching Dope Sick and the other one that goes with that on Painkiller and Dope Sick. And boy, I just so relate to those stories.
Same.
Yeah.
I watched it and I was just, that's part of my story, really. And
so give us just a few minutes on that journey, those 15 years.
Sure.
What did it look like?
Sure. So I kept going through life, working, met a woman, got married, finished college. I don't know how, all while being strung out. And
was she doing it with you, or
no,
were you hiding it from her? Or?
I was hiding it from her until I couldn't anymore. And then I would tell her, look,
I need this.
I need this.
Yeah.
Yes, I need this. And
you were still getting it prescribed by doctors at this point, right?
Never.
No.
Never.
Oh, so you were getting it
Never.
illegally.
Oh, I wish I would have got it. I wanted that so bad. I was like, this is what I need for anxiety. They wouldn't give you painkillers for anxiety.
Right.
Yeah.
I wish. But no, it was all black market. And then the pills dried up. Black tar heroin came in.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the first time I did black tar heroin. I smoked it and I was bringing it up to my face. I remember of my voice in my own head told me, this is not going to end well. This will not end well. And it didn't.
But it didn't matter. You had to do it.
I had to. I was sick.
Mm-hmm.
I was physically sick. I had to go to work, so I couldn't.
Where were you working
anymore.
at the time?
I think I was working at a warehouse, at a big warehouse. So yeah, and but yeah. So I mean, it just inevitably things went from bad to worse.
What happened to the relationship?
Oh, it ended. I was in Maui for Christmas with her family. I ran out of dope, and I got sick on the flight home. Awful. It's like the ugliest thing you'll see. And can I say,
yeah,
okay. I was a big pussy when I was coming down and vomiting and like damn near crying. It was very visible. And we got home New Year's Eve. About a week later, we had the talk, and our divorce finalized 7 months later. And it was about another year and a half until I decided to clean up. And went to recovery, and it's been nearly 5 years since then.
So what? Because it's rare that you hear that someone just says, "Hey, I'm just going to go in recovery." Usually, it's like the wife or the mom, the parents, or the siblings, or the employer says, "You need to get your shit together."
Yeah.
But for you, it was like you made that decision.
Well, I had a little. I had a little push. I have a friend of mine that I've known since 4th grade, and I was sleeping on his couch, scrounging up money when I could here and there. I mean, I came from having my own home in a timeshare in Hawaii, several trucks, campers, to sleeping on his couch. And, one day he just told me, hey, man, like, he said, hey, be ready to go to breakfast. Pick me up. He's like, I love you, man, but I can't watch you kill yourself anymore. He gave me some money.
So he knew you were doing heroin.
Oh, yeah.
At that point, were you just doing heroin, or were you doing anything else?
That was the main thing. It was just, that was my life. It was.
You weren't into the alcohol that much?
Not too much. No, I mean, that was an appetizer.
Mm-hmm.
Heroin was the main course, always.
Yeah, just go to La La Land.
Oh, yeah, just escape, because, other things, I wanted to be down. And alcohol didn't quite bring me down as far as I wanted.
See, I was the opposite. Like, I don't know. I think Charles is more like me. I was looking for the uppers.
Mm-hmm. The uppers.
Give me Coke and whiskey, man. I'm feeling good. I never liked the downers, you know.
Yeah.
I never liked weed, you know. I never did the opiates.
You know, I was a pothead from age 10. But the heroin, like, yanked that away from me, too. I was, like,
Couldn't
all
even
in
do that, yeah.
pothead guy. But
It's like, why waste your time on
yeah, it's
weed?
like, I don't, waste my time on it. So, yeah.
So you got sober.
Yeah.
Your friend helped you get sober. And how was that first year? Because I know my first year was really rocky. And Charles, I mean, that first year, it's like, holy shit, I got to feel emotions. I got to feel this stuff. I got to feel anger and sadness. Because I was blaming everybody when I came in.
Right.
It's my wife's fault. It's my parents' fault.
Sure.
It's my teacher's fault. Like, I just had a bad childhood. That's why I drank. It's the cop's fault for pulling me over.
Yeah.
Who pulls someone over at 3 p.m? Well, someone going from Highlighter to Bourbon Street fucked up out of their minds.
Right.
That's who gets pulled over, you know. So
Right.
For those listening, those are strip clubs.
Yes.
right.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So talk about that, you know, got sober and what did that feel like? What happened? How was that first year, first day, you know?
So I knew nothing about recovery.
How old were you when you
40.
40? God, you look great. You're 45?
45. Right?
Holy shit. You're crushing it.
Well, some say the heroin
Preserves you.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, Keith.
I don't know. Keith Richards is about 400 years
I mean,
old. I think.
well, he's 62. He looks phenomenal.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I mean, he looks absolutely incredible.
That's right.
Nice. But yeah, so the first year I knew nothing about recovery. I thought that's what, or rehab. I thought that's what Britney Spears did after she had a long tour. I thought it was for celebrities.
Right.
I had no clue that a normal junkie like myself could do that. So
Did you know people in recovery?
not a single soul.
Okay.
Not a soul.
So you went to treatment, or
I went to detox first, and then I went to treatment. Yes,
how long was treatment?
I stayed as long as I could.
Which was how long?
About 110 days.
Wow, that is a long time.
Right. A lot of people are in and out 30 days.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any place else to go, Todd.
Yeah, you were couch
There was
surfing.
nowhere to go. And
So you went to rehab, which treatment? But by the way, I hear a great story. I never went to treatment. Did you ever go to treatment?
No.
I never.
No.
I always wanted to. I mean, now
Never.
I do. I'm 25 years sober. I want to go to treatment.
I've been in a handful of detoxes, but I've never
Yeah.
done I thought it was for Britney Spears as well.
yeah. No. So yeah, I mean, they let other people other than Britney Spears in, like myself, and I was thankful. But I met a lot of good people in there. I was kind of on my defensive when I got into rehab. I didn't know what it was. I made a knife like one of the first nights. I thought, is this like jail? I did, but it wasn't.
You got to
It was-
protect yourself. Yeah.
I didn't know what was happening.
Right.
And but I met a lot of good dudes in there that I'm still friends with today.
Awesome.
And
You got real, right? You started to get real.
Right.
Talk about your fears.
Right.
Talk about your anxiety.
Oh,
Talk about how all your fucked up mind's telling you all this shit.
Yeah.
And realize, holy cow, I'm not alone.
Right.
Other people feel like this.
right.
And isn't that an incredible feeling to get that out, you know?
It was so freeing because I thought I'm the worst junkie in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no way you have done what I've done. They're like, and we'd share stories and like, oh, you're just as fucked up as me.
Yeah. And they're laughing about it, right? And you're
Oh,
like, oh my God,
it's
you're
the
laughing
best.
at it. So I'm not that bad, right? You know?
That's one of my favorite things about addicts and alcoholics. We have sense of humor, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But it was very freeing to meet a lot of other dudes that have walked the same path that I walked and want what I want. It took me a little while to get there. There was H&I people would bring in meetings, outside meetings from of Alcoholics Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous, Heroin Anonymous, and at first I was wary. I was like, "What are these guys selling? Where's what's the catch?
Yeah. What do they want?
What do they really want from
Right.
me?"
Because they wouldn't really want to get to know me.
Yeah.
They wouldn't really want to help me. Because
Yeah.
who wants to help me?
Right.
I don't want to help myself.
Right.
How can someone else want to help me?
Right.
That low self-esteem, that low self-worth is so low.
Right.
It doesn't get any lower.
Right.
And they love you and care about you till you can love and care about yourself. I used to hear that and be like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's true.
It is.
Absolutely
It
true.
is. It is. Guys that didn't even know me would come see me every Saturday. Hey man, how you doing? You doing okay? You have everything you need? You need some new socks? I'll go
Mhm.
grab some.
Mhm.
Like, dude, yes, I do, but what do you want from me? Just want to make sure you're good. Did you read the pages in the book that I told you? Yes, I did. You know, it was just baffling to me that strangers would do that. And of course that's our step 12, you know, to pass the message.
Yeah. It's an important part of the program for me is
Right.
if I don't, you know, go to meetings and continue to carry the message, I'm starting to think about me and thinking about me all the time, which, you know, okay, if I'm thinking about me, I'm going to start criticizing myself.
Right.
Where am I going wrong? What am I doing wrong? Where am I not good enough? And then before you know it, like I'm starting to have shame and guilt and anger towards myself. But if I'm out helping someone else, I kind of feel pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, like tomorrow, I'm taking a couple guys down to the backyard group. You know, I haven't been down there in years. You know, and it's like that's down in the hood, in South Phoenix. You been
Nice.
the
No.
backyard group?
No.
Yeah, it's like Central and Guadalupe, and it's you know, you see all kinds in there.
Yeah.
You know, you'll see a doctor all the way down to the prostitute who's been up for 4 days straight, and everything in between.
Mhm.
And it's like, I love it. I mean, the shares and sobriety in there is so real and so infectious.
Right.
It's like, I love it.
Yeah, it's you know, helping other people, being of service is one of those weird conundrums. It's like the infinity symbol. You know, are you helping yourself? Are you helping other people? Like,
I think it's everything.
It is.
It's both of those things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well put.
Absolutely. And you know, I had
Because we are them and they are us.
right.
We're all
right.
the same.
Yeah.
We're just in different parts of the continuum,
Right,
right?
right.
I mean, we can start talking about Einstein and the theory of, you know, metaphysics, but it's like we're all the same on just different, you know, wavelengths and different spots in the journey.
Yeah.
But we are literally all the same.
Right.
So if I'm helping you, I'm 100% helping myself.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. Yep. It's wild. I mean, and nowadays, you know, I'm like I said, I'm still in contact with the core group of individuals that I met in my first year of recovery. They're still some of my best friends, and we laugh about stuff and tell each other the raunchiest jokes and laugh, the darkest humor. It's great. And to see everybody elevating. Now we're on different trajectories. You know, at one time they were going this way. Now everybody is on the up and up. Good friend of mine just bought his first house. You know, it's a beautiful thing to see, and I owe it all to what I've learned in the last 5 years, and I continue to learn all the time.
So what do you do to maintain that attitude of gratitude and that joy and that happiness? What do you do? Because I know there are days I wake up and I just want to be angry and I want to feel sorry for myself and I want to feel sad. And that's the way it's going to be. So what do you do to like try to get out of that self-pity, that anger, that resentment, that, you know, I'm not good enough type of stuff? How do you get out of it on a daily basis? Like what's your spiritual routine?
My spiritual routine, the first thing I do when I open my eyes in the morning is put my headphones on and I put some meditation music on and I meditate for 15 minutes. And after that's done, I'll pray. I'll pray in the same position, just laying down. And that works for me. And that's my nightly routine as well. And now, by no means am I perfect at it. Some nights I'll fall asleep watching an old Sopranos episode, but it's my life has changed incomprehensibly because of that. Just those little things, and I didn't know how to meditate 5 years ago. I don't know if I do now, but what I'm doing is working.
Slowing yourself down, calming down.
Just quiet, just silence. Sit in silence, and don't let intrusive thoughts enter. It works for me, and you know, guys that I've sponsored in the past, I tell them the same thing. Just quiet your mind and empty everything out, and I don't know. It's what works for me. So, and I feel like I have this life. I'm happier and healthier than I've been in decades. And it's solely by taking other people's suggestions.
Hmm.
So
one of the promises that Charles read is, we learn to have fun and play in our lives. And it sounds like you're learning to have fun and play in life.
absolutely.
And that's a beautiful thing that you're just figuring that out in your 40s. Like you're just learning how to play and have fun in your life and to really get to know yourself.
Right.
Get to know yourself. And because I think when we really truly love and like ourselves, we can really enjoy life.
Right.
But if we don't like ourselves and are constantly criticizing ourselves, it's hard to enjoy life and to have fun.
Right. That's true. You can't let go.
Did you relate to any of those promises or the laundry list, should I say, that Charles read?
I did. So, it was one of the first of the second list there. The
On the laundry list or the promises?
the promises.
Okay.
I believe it.
Self-esteem increasing, discovering our real identities.
That's it. Discovering your real identity, and I always knew who I was inside, but I wore masks to hide that.
Yeah.
I hid from the world. But discovering who I am. Yes, I'm a compassionate, loving, sensitive, tough man that can talk about my feelings now. And that's not who I was prior to 5 years ago, 4 years ago. It was a learning thing. So discovering who I am, who I truly am, without filter, and without substance mudding it. I resonate with that one. There was another one as well that talked about self-love.
Our self-esteem will increase
Yeah.
as we start to discover our true identities and help others, really.
Love ourselves, yeah.
Right. And
It's as simple as making coffee at a meeting or picking somebody up or doing the chairs. Back when I got sober, picking up the cigarettes and the, the butts.
Yeah. So, I heard a lot of parallels to 12-step recovery, to the laundry list and the promises.
Well, ACA is a 12-step program. Have you
okay.
been to an ACA meeting?
I have never known.
Yeah, we'll invite you to the Wednesday night meeting that we go to.
Okay.
Jim's a regular there, and
Okay.
it's a 12-step program, very similar to AA and CA and all the other 12-step programs. And the only difference is we do a blameless inventory of our childhood to see where these injuries came from.
Okay.
Where did the anxiety come from? Where did the fear come from? Maybe some of it's genetics, but a lot of it's probably environment of stuff that happened in our early years.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'd love to learn more.
Yeah, well, we'll give you a red book. I got one in the car. I'll bring one on Tuesday.
Okay.
Nick and I do a meeting at his office, which is in a church, which I think is so cool. That's in this really cool church with the stained glass window, and you just feel the energy in there. And Nick runs sales for a company I'm involved with, Core Roofing. There's a plug for Core Roofing, but we hire sober people that are trying to get back on their feet. And how does that feel to be involved in something where, our motive is to help customers and make a profit, but we're also helping people get back on their feet.
That's everything to me. That's, if it wasn't that, I don't know if I'd be here. I don't know if I'd be at Core.
Yeah.
I honestly, Einstein said that coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. I got to go recruit guys at the rehab that I was at 5 years ago. Those are my first hires, and they're kicking ass.
That's awesome.
It's full circle.
Yeah.
So that's everything.
That's awesome.
I may have passed if
when I walk in there and I just sense that energy, and getting to know some of the guys and Tila and something like just, there's a lot of love there. There's a lot of love there. And it's not just like there for a paycheck. It's like the energy and the love, and I got your back, and how can we help each other?
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I love that we're doing that Tuesday night meeting. It's, I know for me, I just drive home there feeling so good.
Same. Yeah, it's different. It's very different. I've been involved in, many different companies, whether they're Fortune 500 or not. And like, here we're family. A lot of companies say that, but this truly is. These guys are my brothers and sisters, and I'll do anything for them.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's a beautiful thing.
Well, that's why, I have a lot of friends that were in the military that came back from Iraq and Afghanistan, and you're friends with some of these guys too. And they say, I ask them, like, what's the one thing you really miss about the military? And they all say the love and the fellowship of our unit, of our company.
Right.
And they say it's so debilitating. It's like almost brought us down to like not wanting to be here anymore because they miss that love. And we talk about being in the center of the herd, being in the middle of the bus. We have all these analogies, but like there's something to be said for being part of that group and that herd where there's so much love that it just can carry you,
Right. And, not to, no offense to anybody that's been in real combat, but because I never have. I'm not a military person, but I think that I would imagine that there's some parallels being in recovery with people that have been in your shoes, similar to a battle buddy.
Mm-hmm.
They call them battle buddies when they come back. And I imagine there's similarities because, you hurt like I hurt. It's the same pain. Like I can't relate to a pain that maybe a wounded vet has if he's never been an addict. But I can relate to the guy that's strung out somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Okay,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, people are trying to get me sober for 2 years before I got in.
Okay.
My ex-wife, my parents, my friends, my business partners, and I literally wouldn't listen to anyone. But when I went to that first AA meeting and I heard that guy in the podium telling my story and I started crying, I'm like, I can listen now.
Yeah.
A non-alcoholic's not trying to tell me about my problem.
Right.
And then my guard was down. I'm willing to listen.
Yeah. Well, uniquely qualified to have that conversation with you or to get to you.
Yeah.
So,
Charles, what do you have for Nick here?
Okay. There are things that remind me of how much I love this, Todd. You remind me of it. Certain things occur, and Nick, you reminded me how much I love this. The way that you talk, the way that you described your story, I felt like I was there. And he has one of those messages that can truly save lives. The way that you communicate it, you brought me into that whole from beginning to end, right? So I'm thrilled to hear that you're working with other men. And I got chills a couple of times when you were talking, and you reminded me how much I love this. Sometimes I'll forget, right? And usually I have to go back to a meeting or get on a phone call with you or get on a phone call with someone. But this tonight reminded me that I'm in love with this stuff. Okay, so the warm blanket. We spend the rest of our existence trying to find that fucking warm blanket.
No question.
right.
And we will put the search, just wanting that warm blanket feeling in front of our wives, in front of our children, in front of our jobs, in front of our own personal health and sanity for that fucking warm blanket. And you took me back to the first time where I felt like I finally was calm, right? And many of our listeners utilize many different things to have that feeling of warm blanket, right? It could be drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be any number of different things, right? It could be gambling.
Gambling, sex.
It could be sex. Yeah.
Anything to disassociate and not feel the feelings.
And then we chase that feeling, right? And God, and then you took us all the way through from warm blanket to the blanket wasn't ever coming back. And then to now here. And then I loved how, so in my favorite paragraph in one of our readings, it says that life will take on new meaning, right? Certainly we have lives with new meanings today. And then it says, this is the second paragraph of 89. Then it says, to watch people recover and then see them help others, frequent contact with each other becomes a bright spot of our lives. And then how you described how these guys that you're with are all on an upward trajectory now. And then I could feel how you had enjoyment about your buddy who's buying a home. And I absolutely love this shit, Todd, because I know myself and so many other guys that are sober, working for your company, working for other, they shouldn't be where they are right now. And if we would have saw them 5 years ago, we'd say, that guy has no fucking chance in the world.
Exactly.
And here you are talking about the other guys that you have come up with. I'm glad that you're here with us and carrying that message, man. You're smooth, and I could feel there's certain people and I just so thank you for that. I'm
excited to get Nick to the Wednesday night.
Yeah,
I like seeing guys light up that have never, because you're sober 5 years, and I don't recommend coming into ACA if you're in your first year of sobriety, really, because just trying to get sober is enough, right?
Right. Oh yeah.
And here you're really digging into feeling your feelings. But I'm excited, as you and I call it, the next layer, next stage of recovery.
It is. It's the roots. It's the roots. We get to the roots as opposed to just learning how to manicure and maintain our existence through working the steps. We get down and start pulling fucking roots.
Well, the big book says of Alcoholics Anonymous that alcohol and drugs were not my problem.
Symptom.
It was a symptom of the problem. And the problem was I lived in 100 forms of fear. And I probably had 150 forms of fear. Mm-hmm. And the alcohol and drugs was that warm blanket.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
It felt, ease and comfort.
Right.
I can go talk to the girl. I'm not as scared of my parents anymore. I can actually play sports now. It was that warm blanket that gave me some liquid courage, as we call it,
And there's a lot of us as well. Well, not us, but us being the royal us, everyone listening. There's a lot of us that come into that ACA program without alcohol addiction at all, right? They're not a member of another fellowship.
Yep.
And,
but they want more out of life. There's
100%.
Something blocking them.
Well, yeah, those traits that we read to start this show, these traits.
People pleasing, manipulation.
Yep.
Lying to be liked, the chameleon.
Can't get out of the worst, shittiest situation just because you're afraid of being alone. Mm-hmm. And it all boils down to not loving ourselves because we're terrified of that, or we just don't want to be alone with who we are. We need someone else or look at something else. Yeah, it's a wild deal. Man, I got a lot out of what you said tonight. You're a cool cat. I'm glad that we had Nick on tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to invite you Wednesday if you can make it. If not, we're every Wednesday at the church. And Charles, we'll invite you when you get back from China.
Going to China.
We'll invite you back when you get back from China to our Tuesday night meeting we do at Core in Mesa at this bitchin' church where he runs the sales team.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. A lot of energy in there. And we bring dinner. Every Tuesday night we bring dinner. And, we're developing a nice little friendship there, and it's cool.
Yeah, I want to go where you go. So there's certain guys that actually they develop a fucking core of guys, and usually that band or core of guys all together experience success, life, relationships, right? And then you look, it's just
stronger in the pack.
Yeah, there's pockets of that all around. You and I are.
We've had plenty of those over the years. In our recovery.
They're beautiful to watch. I can tell he's a part of one, so I want to go where you go. That's for sure. Yeah,
yeah. And Tori, who's his best buddy and roommate, is Jim's son. Is he is. Talk about going to battle. I'd take a bullet for that guy all day long, and he would do the same for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's.
And those are the kind of people I want in my life today.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Same.
That's right.
I look for them, and no, it interests me. I'm sorry. I never identified why I had anxiety. I think ACA could help me find the roots.
That was my answer.
Yeah, it can.
My answer. Why am I so anxious? I'm taking this SAT and I feel like I'm literally going to faint. I'm going to ask out a girl. I feel like I'm going to faint. I'm playing a tennis match and I feel like I'm going to faint because the anxiety and the panic and the fear is just too much. Where does that fucking come from?
Right.
Well, I wanted to know.
Right. Right.
And now I know, and there's stuff I can do about it. But prayer and meditation is right up there at the top of the list. That's
right.
for sure.
That's right.
Well, thanks for coming on, Nick. We really, really appreciate it. And again, it's grateful I'm getting to know you and keep getting, more of your energy. And if you want to come on the podcast, please let us know. And we'd love to have you. If you have a comment, let us know on the comments section. And if you want a red book, we will ship you one free of charge. Just ask us, and we got to get your address, and we'll send you a free red book that cost Charles $27. We didn't get a chance to talk about Charles' dating life, but
this was too good. This was too good.
It was too good. But in 30 seconds, we motivated Charles on the last episode.
How about
because
that?
Blake was dating, and now just FYI, Charles went on a few dates. He had a date last night that he's very excited about. Mm-hmm. And
correct.
it's good that he's going to China because he's going to have a little bit of 9 days in between. So he's not going to have the U-Haul at our house quite yet.
That's a good point. That 9-day buffer going to China is maybe the only thing
God's
that prevents
doing for
me
you what you couldn't do for yourself.
Beg this woman to move in. No, I'm going about it differently. But you know what? I will be honest with you. If we look back at last episode, I kind of was fascinated that Blake was dating. Not that I'm like, oh my God, Blake's, but he was, all right. So that put me into action. And I actually, believe it or not, I went on a date last night. It was not as impossible or daunting as my brain had told me. And we'll talk about that. Maybe I dial in from China.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll feel real comfortable talking about the date if I'm.
What is it, 9 hours ahead?
Oh my goodness. So I leave Tuesday night. And I arrived Thursday.
Okay, but what's the time difference? London's 8 hours.
Yeah, London's like 8 or 9.
So is it like 10?
No, I think it's like 16 hours, Todd.
Okay.
It's like 16 hours.
So
I'm going to be in the future. Bottom line, I'm going to be in the future.
Okay, so 5:30 p.m. actually, I think works for you because that's early in the morning the next day.
Yeah,
so
probably good.
That probably works for you.
Yep. So
we'll try to dial you in. That'd be kind of cool. Like have the Forbidden City behind you as we're like.
If they even allow this, I don't think they allow recovery-based shit over there.
Oh, you can do it in a park where they're playing like 1,500 ping pong tables.
Yeah.
By the way, I've been to China and I love China, but literally those parks, they're doing either Tai Chi, some kind of like chi movement, or they're like ping pong tables everywhere.
Okay.
And it's the cleanest city in the country in the world, right?
Yeah. If you throw trash on the ground, you're going to jail. But
what was interesting when I went is they spit everywhere.
They spit.
Oh my God. The men and women are constantly spitting. They're like
on the ground?
Oh yeah. They're constantly cleaning their sinuses out and spitting everywhere.
Okay.
I was like, what the hell is going on? So that's a whole nother topic, mucus in China. That's the next episode. But I think we named this episode, and guess what it's going to be? Warm blanket.
Of course. Oh my goodness.
It's got to be,
warm blanket. God, do you remember your first warm blanket where you're like, okay, I don't feel fucking like Todd anymore. This is great.
7th grade behind the 7-Eleven next to Arcadia High School.
I'm pretty sure it was Ingleside. I think it was Ingleside.
No,
I'm joking.
Yeah. It was those 3 beers and a couple shots. I'm like, warm blanket.
Yep. Not Todd anymore. No, thank God.
I feel great.
Yep. Yeah. I remember the first time that I wasn't Charles anymore. I'm like, thank God I don't feel like that guy anymore.
Right.
And then I spent the rest of my life
warm blanket,
chasing that warm blanket. So warm blanket. Good stuff.
Thank you for everybody. Hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Please be nice to my friend today and remember the meaning of Thanksgiving. Let's give thanks and be grateful for our love, God's love, and your love to the world. So thank you, and we will be back to you after Thanksgiving.